Hello there. So I'm doing a train journey today and I had some time in my hands, so I thought why not vlog? You'll be catching me on my train journey from my hometown to Delhi today. But you might ask which is my hometown. So my hometown is, if you don't know, it's Kashipur. It's a small town at the beginning of Uttarakhand. So the first train I'm taking is this passenger train from Kashipur to Moradabad. From Moradabad I'll be taking another train to Delhi. And since this is a passenger train, मुझे खुद जाना पड़ेगा, देखना पड़ेगा, जहाँ जगह मिल रही है वहीं चढ़ जाओ. Because it's a passenger train, it's always a fun ride because you can stand by the door, sit by the door, look at the views outside. Kashipur station has been a part of my life since as long as I can remember, because this station was a gateway to the world. Because whenever we were traveling to our relatives' place, or even if I was going to college, this was the station from where I took the train to the outside world. And as a kid, I would just sit by the window looking outside, looking at all the views. It was kind of like my introduction to the world. And what would happen was I used to tell my father that please take me to the railway station, I just wanted to see the trains pass by, because whenever I would look at the train, it would make me dream that one day I'll be out there traveling and seeing the world. In fact, the first time I sat in a locomotive, in a train locomotive, happened at Kashipur railway station, because me and my father, we were traveling to Lal Kuan, and my father was a doctor. So turned out that the train's driver, one of his relatives was operated by my father. So he was like, oh, I remember your son loves traveling by trains. Why don't I give him a tour of the locomotive? So Kashipur to Moradabad is a short journey. It's a 60-kilometer journey, 1.5 hours long. And between that journey, we have like 5 or 6 small stations where people, they do to and fro from either Kashipur or Moradabad, where they are working or going to college. And it's so interesting to see railways still play such an important part in so many people's life on a daily basis. And this region, the region you see in these parts between Kashipur, which is in Uttarakhand, and Moradabad, which is in Uttar Pradesh, it's all Tarai region. It has a very interesting history because all this region used to be swamps back in the times of Britishers, or even before that. And the farmlands here in these region are therefore some of the most fertile farmlands in India. So that's how Kashipur, even though it's in Uttarakhand, I keep telling people it's not in the mountains. I don't live in the mountains. I am from a place which is in the plains of Uttarakhand, and which is why Kashipur is very interesting, because it's a landing place for people going towards the Kumaon Mountains or people coming from Kumaon Mountains. Kashipur became that sweet spot where they can settle down, the industries can open up, people can look for opportunities. And that's how my father came to Kashipur in 1991. He was a government doctor. He came to Kashipur. He saw a place which was quite lovely, not far from the mountains. The weather was nice. It used to be pretty nice back then. Now it's like pretty bad. So back then he saw Kashipur, and there was this crop of doctors who were coming to Kashipur, setting up hospitals, setting up this base in the plains of Uttarakhand. And now I keep visiting my town just to meet my family, just to spend time with them, because otherwise after 7 days I feel this itch to either head somewhere up in Uttarakhand or going back to Himachal. Something in between, which Kashipur has become somewhere between city and a town. I hate it now. I absolutely hate it. But a train journey out of Kashipur, it always makes me happy.
Heading out on our own with our hope in the clouds, and we're starting to see that we're onto something. Feel it coming, we'll keep running, nothing in our way, and we got no reason to wait. Let the journey take you where it wants to. We'll continue to find our way through anything. adventure begin.
So I've arrived in Moradabad and the small train journey from Kashipur to Moradabad is over. But now I have to wait here for 2 hours for the next train to arrive, which is Shatabdi Express that I'm taking all the way till Delhi. I have to figure out how to kill next 2 hours. But until then, I can always stand at one point and look at the trains passing by, because that's one of the best things to do when you're at Moradabad railway station, which is one of the main junctions of northern India. And so many trains pass by from here, so I can just stand on the overhead bridge and just watch the trains passing by.
Here we go, with the sunlight on our skin. It's a brand new day, it's ours to take, and we will let it in. This is
Another thing that I can do, which I want to do, which I usually do whenever I am traveling, is, and so popat ho gaya, because in the next frame what I had planned to do was I would have been holding a Reader's Digest, which I always buy whenever I am traveling by train. It's either Reader's Digest or Tinkle. But the sad part is I went to the Wheeler's shop, which is like almost at every major railway station, the bookstore. I went there and they said they don't have Reader's Digest or Tinkle because people have stopped buying them. They're like, kids these days don't buy those books, even the adults. No one buys those books. Everyone is reading something on their phone. And we are all guilty. Even I am guilty of that. But it's sad, like they said it's not selling, so we don't keep it. And so now I'm back to square when I'm just chilling at the railway station looking at the trains passing by. And it has been a part of the life of everyone who's from Kashipur or Ramnagar or that part of Uttarakhand, because Moradabad becomes a major junction for us whenever we have to travel to any part of the world. We take a train to Moradabad, come here, and back in the day when we used to travel to Delhi to meet our relatives, so we had this train at night from Kashipur, from Ramnagar Kashipur to Delhi, and that train used to come to Moradabad, stop here for almost like 2 hours before Raniket Express used to come from Haldwani, and our train used to get attached to that and we used to proceed with our journey to Delhi. And those 2 hours used to be hell in Moradabad because there used to be so many mosquitoes, and it meant if we are going by train to Delhi, that meant we had to carry Odomos with us to save ourselves from all the mosquitoes. And while growing up, Moradabad railway station for me was all about mosquitoes. So I had those pretty bad memories as well, and really good memories as well, because there was all those times when I would take trains to different parts of the country from Moradabad and go on all those amazing trips with my family, relatives, at times all by myself as well. So yeah, this station has been a part of my life, and no matter where I go, I always like coming back, sitting here at this railway station and just looking at the trains, like this one passing by behind me. Well, there is one more thing I used to love doing, that is count the number of wagons in the goods train. I don't know if you guys, if you all did it, but as a kid I used to stand, and whenever there was a goods train passing by, I used to count the number of wagons in it. I used to like figure out if it's the longest goods train I've ever seen, and I'm going to I can still count the number of wagons of this goods train, and I'm going to see if it's the longest one I have ever seen. And with that, it was time to leave for Delhi. And as I stood by the door again, watching the sunset as we left Moradabad station, I couldn't stop feeling grateful for every moment. The world is returning to normal again, and here I was letting my inner child enjoy all those moments of happiness. Because that's what life is all about, to discover the joy you hold within instead of waiting for it to arrive at you. I stood there and let out a small thanks to the universe and stared back at a beautiful world out there, which was waving back at me on my journey ahead.